In this video, we are going to understand what is the type of Lambda expression. We know that Java is a typed language, so whenever we create any variable or object, we always specify data type. In this example, we have created an object MSG with data type as string, and same way for 40, we have created variable as count whose data type is integer. So because Java is a typed language, whenever we create any variable, we always specify data type. So in the same way, whenever we create function as a value, what is the data type of that Lambda expression? So we need to understand what exactly is this function type that we have written in this statement, where we are assigning this Lambda expression, which is function as a value, to variable called fun, and for that fun variable we are looking for data type of this function type. So first we understand that how exactly we were passing a method prior Java 8. So consider there is one interface called worker interface with one abstract method called do some work. We have one class called worker interface user, which has one method called execute, and this execute method is expecting object of worker interface as parameter. And this execute method is using that object to invoke method called do some work on that object. So if I want to use that worker interface user, I need to create object of that class, and I invoke its execute method, and to this execute method we are passing an object of worker interface. So what we have written in this blue color, that represents an object of worker interface. Because worker interface is an interface, we need to provide implementation of that do some work, which is declared as abstract in interface. What is input to this execute method? So essentially the thing in blue color which you are passing to execute method is an anonymous object of an anonymous class that implements worker interface. So if we represent it in a diagram where execute is the method to which we are passing an object of worker interface. So this is an object of worker interface, and essentially that object contains implementation of this do some work, which was declared as abstract in worker interface. And execute method is using that do some work on object of worker interface. If you recall, what we learned about functional programming is we are able to pass a function as an input to another function. So we want to achieve essentially same thing. Is there any way to pass only method implementation to this execute method? If you see this diagram, we were passing implementation of do some work prior Java 8, but we were passing it in form of object of some class which is implementing interface. Now we don't want that long syntax. I just want to pass only method body. That is what we want to achieve here. Java 8 made it possible by creating an interface that has only one abstract method. So here we understand separating method interface and method implementation. I have represented method interface as this dotted circle and method implementation as this filled circle in green color. Because Java is 100% object oriented, we can't have standalone function. If you want to have a function, it has to be inside some class. If it is abstract method, it has to be inside some interface. I represent this method interface inside some functional interface. So interface which has one abstract method is called as functional interface, and I represent this Lambda expression which is actually method body, that I represent as one object which has this missing implementation of abstract method. So as an analogy, we can treat Lambda expression is kind of an object of functional interface. And whenever I assign this Lambda expression to any variable, that variable will have some data type. So in this example, if we compare this statement with our diagram, we can match like this. This Lambda expression is our method body, and the data type for this Lambda expression is this worker interface, which is this one, and this abstract method is what we have declared in this worker interface, and what we have this in green color is the implementation of this abstract method. And earlier we learned that whenever we write lambda expression, we are not going to write name of this method, and whenever we have any parameter or we can say input to this method, we are just going to write names of the variables. We are not going to write type of those variables. So name of method and type of input parameters are in functional interface. So in this case, this lambda expression, if I want to find out type of this lambda expression, it is this one where name of the method is do some work, it is returning void, and input is nothing. So basically method implementation is in lambda expression, and method signature or method header is in functional interface. So in other words, we can say that data type, or in simply type of any lambda expression, is a functional interface which has only one abstract method. So whenever we do this assignment, compiler has to figure out that this lambda expression is referring to which method. And as we learned that functional interface will have only one abstract method, so there is no confusion. Because there is only one abstract method in functional interface, lambda gets associated with only one abstract method. So whenever we do this kind of assignment, compiler has no confusion that this lambda expression is associated with which method of functional interface, because functional interface has to have only one abstract method. So conclusion is data type of lambda expression is functional interface.